Hey ballers, welcome to These Balls Could Talk, the podcast that gets to invite its super fans to be part of the show. This is Mark along with John and our producer Pete, and we're getting ready to discuss the latest in sports, tech, and pop culture. If you like what you hear or see, please like us or hit that subscribe button, or as we like to say, tickle that little bell.
Ooh.
Tickle, tickle, tickle. We welcome back to the podcast our super fan, Doug Feyes. What's going on, Doug?
Hello, gentlemen.
Doug. Fresh.
Dougie
Good to see
Fresh.
Good to be seen.
Yes. Very exciting.
All right, John, how you been?
I am no different than I was last week, to be honest.
Question.
To be honest, I am no different than I was last week. I spent a week doing insane things that blew my mind a little bit, and I watched more Rookie, and here we are. So
How many episodes do you guys get through in a week generally?
a lot. So
Yeah.
there are 22 episodes in a season. We are maybe on episode 6 or 8 of season 4. There are 7 seasons. I've decided we're going to finish it fast, and we might switch to 911 because apparently I'm an ABC ad. So
Huh. Okay, then.
apparently in 911 there's a
ABC not a sponsor.
a B NATO, so that seems kind of cool. They crashed like a lot of planes.
Wait,
I'm in.
a tornado of bees?
A tornado of bees.
Fucking
Pete. How
A,
could I
what?
not watch
Like a
it?
sci-fi network movie.
Dude, that's right out of my worst nightmares.
Yes, B NATO. So I'm in. Because apparently Jamie likes cop dramas and 45-minute action serials, and so that's what we're gonna watch.
Interesting.
But anyway, no, honestly, that nothing really has been going on. I had the flu. I probably had it when we recorded last
You
week.
sound much better this week.
Yeah.
And
Run the
I had
club.
that pretty much all weekend last weekend. I was freezing to death when I was editing, so I hope the edit made sense.
Sounded
And
lovely.
I did stay home from Dad's because I had the flu. And
Yeah, don't want to get that sick.
Yeah, that would
Nope,
be very bad.
no good. I had a little bit of an adventure with one of our buddies. Thank God he's fine. And yeah, here we are. So how was your week, Mark?
Let's see. So I ended up having I did a 5K last weekend, and I had a general idea of what I was going to do. I did 3 minutes faster than I thought I was going to. So I did a
Nice.
whole minute
Wow.
per mile faster.
That's friggin' awesome,
Like
dude.
an hour and 1 minute.
Yes.
Is that a PR?
No, I
Wait,
no, it's
1
not a
hour
PR.
and 1 minute. Wait, what are we talking? We're
No.
compressing time?
Doug is being Dougie Fresh is being fresh.
That's some like Flash level abilities right there.
5K in an hour.
Gordon!
No, I ended up. So I was expecting to finish anywhere between 33 and 34, and I finished at 30:38.
Oh, so close to breaking the 30. That's awesome, dude.
I know, but this is the lowest baseline I think I've ever had for the year. So for those that don't know, usually the first race of the year, it's a way to set the baseline for the rest of the year. And this year, I may have overachieved, and I have another 5K this upcoming weekend. Of which the weather has not been very cooperative with my training. I wanted to go for a run today, and I decided not to. But I might run tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll run tomorrow because
Oak's disappointed in you.
that'll be a second. I
Oak is,
know.
unless you're running a marathon a day, Oak is disappointed in you.
He is. He's disappointed in you. He told me.
Yeah.
Hi, Oak.
that is a true fact. Pete, how you been?
Doing okay. I mean, I don't know if I brought this up last time that we had a successful Wing Fest during our
We
time
did a little
off.
bit. We talked about it a little bit.
Yeah, it was sad. We couldn't get some of our usuals there just due to scheduling, and we had to reschedule it ourselves because we were just not prepared.
How's my trophy?
It's waiting for you next. As soon as I come to Western New York. Oh, I was gonna show it on the podcast here.
Go get it.
Yeah, I know.
That's right. We have
Oh, okay.
2 fantasy football champions on this podcast today.
Hey, Doug, you see my trophy?
Yes.
No.
Oh, in the back,
Oh wow, that huge thing.
Yeah.
dude. You're gonna get
Yours
one pretty much the
Yours
same
looks
size.
almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think the
Sweet.
football's black instead of silver, but it's almost
football's
otherwise
black.
the same thing. Yep. And I gotta affix your plaque that has your name and the year and that you're your team name, that you're the champion.
There.
I told Tim we can put it up in his bar. Shout out to Tim.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so this is about the size that you're going to be getting.
Don't break it.
I would never break it.
Because wasn't there a fiasco in our league, the armchair quarterback, where the trophy got destroyed in shipping?
The previous trophy was shipped to California and was destroyed, and apparently the Postal Service told our commissioner to fuck off.
Yeah.
Did you buy the insurance?
He did buy the insurance,
and they still
told him to fuck off.
Wow.
And then he tried to get his money back, and they told him to fuck off.
I hope those people get fired by Elon Musk.
Was that the official response? Because I would have loved to see
yes,
an official memo.
Officially, the response was, "Please fuck off."
Oh, they said please.
At least
nice.
they said please.
Yeah.
At least they said please.
Hey guys, want to touch my silver balls?
Oh God.
Well, there's only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. It's big though.
One big ball. I guess if
big
you're
and
only
pointy.
only going to have one, it should be big and pointy.
Oh, you want to see what happened though? Look at all these names on this trophy. They've been doing this for a lot of years. Look where my poor name is.
Oh, you're on the back.
The first one on the ass.
Oh no.
At least you're not on the bottom.
At least I'm not on the bottom. No,
So-
on the butt.
The nice thing about these is when you run out of space, though, you can buy another piece
yes.
there.
We
So
go up.
they're modular. Right. But can we stack them on top so it becomes like the Stanley Cup and just keeps growing?
Fuck yeah, we can.
That'd be awesome.
You can buy bars. You can make it taller. Get another one of these. Wow.
All right.
Fuck yeah.
Exciting.
All right, I'm putting it back.
So, while John's putting that back, in case you guys don't know what Wingfest is, it is a party that I run every year. That is
You and your wife.
my wife and I make a shit ton of wings.
Steph.
We set up karaoke and it's like a legit like PA system set up, right? So it sounds good. We got a bunch of people singing. We bring.
How was the Deathwing?
I only expect the most professional setup at your house, Pete.
Yes, I get a little carried away. It's fun.
How was this year's version of the Deathwing?
It was actually more palatable than we've had in a while.
It's really
not
tasty.
It was hot.
Jamie
it was
had
still,
a little.
Yep, it was still super hot, but it was actually not like giving me the spontaneous hiccups and mouth
We had
swelling.
no mouth
depends on-
sores.
No mouth sores or swelling this time.
I wanted to come, but the flu hit us hard.
Yeah,
Aw.
I think a
That
lot of people
week,
were sick
no.
around that time too.
Yeah, it was not a good time. Plus, it was Valentine's Day weekend.
Valentine's
So.
Day, bummer. I knew you'd get.
I hear something in John's background.
Sorry.
The
spin.
spin.
Oh,
Amazing.
Spin.
I have a little bit of anxiety-induced ADHD, so I spin things sometimes.
It's okay. When I was growing up, I had an obsession with wheels and spinning stuff, and thus Wheel of Fortune was my favorite game show because it was a giant
Oh,
wheel.
that was you. Do you remember your Wheel of Fortune board?
I have it.
Oh,
And
wow.
Liam, I felt so proud. Liam found it hiding, just poking out underneath a console in the living room, and he pulled it out and started spinning it. I'm like,
Oh,
He loves
there you go.
loves spinners.
yes, he does.
What a great
has
segue,
this-
by the way. I mean, speaking of wheels, hey everyone,
Oh,
how
yeah,
did the
right.
coffee pep itself up in the morning?
Uh-oh.
How, Mark?
It went through a quick warm-up routine.
Oh.
Get it, routine? It's time for warm up your balls.
Toasted
As a
balls.
reminder, Pete will spin the wheel and it will randomly select the question that our guest will answer. Are you ready, Pete?
I am. I enjoy spinning this wheel for reasons that I just cited a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, it's a quick spin now. What is your... Oh, this is fun. What is your earliest childhood memory? How far back do you remember?
So I have this like vague memory of in our like the first house we lived on Oak Hill, which is in the village of Hamburg. I think you guys lived down the street. Pete.
I remember that house.
We had an orange cat named Bo, and I distinctly remember the cat the house, but then my parents had to give the cat away because I guess the cat would always like
murdered
bite
Tim.
me. No, Tim was not born yet. So I remember that, and then the next memory I have is dressing up as what my mom said. I dressed up as an engineer. I had like a bucket on my head and like overalls and like a pocket protector, and now I am an engineer. So
Damn it.
Well, there you go.
Damn it, Doug, you're so cool.
Awesome.
So yeah, those are my oldest or earliest memories.
Do you know about how old you were in those memories?
Like the cat one, I couldn't have been more than like a year and a half.
That you must have been really young because I don't remember that cat at all. I'm not even sure.
Yeah,
was I even alive when that cat was? Because you're what, a year and 2 months older than me.
Yeah,
almost a year and 3 months. Happy birthday, by the way.
It could have been after you were born because you were just.
Okay. Happy belated birthday, by the way, Doug.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I turned 45 years young.
Yikes. That's
Amazing.
a one spicy meatball.
Yeah, halfway to 90, as I've been telling everyone.
There you go.
Speaking of, guess who just got re-signed today?
I saw that Donnie Meatballs.
Donnie Meatballs. Wow.
Danny Dimey Meatballs. That's his new name, apparently. I like it. I'm into it. I'm into it.
Did he get the recipe from? Oh yeah.
Danny Meatballs and Tommy Cutlets.
I was gonna say, did he get that from Tommy DeVito? Like,
wait, what? I didn't see that. What team did he get signed with?
No, Tommy DeVito got re-signed by the Giants today.
oh, I thought you said Danny.
Really?
For some reason I swore you just said Danny.
No,
DeVito,
I did say
and
Danny Meatballs. That's because Doug is wonderful at remembering sports things, and I liked it a lot.
Now I'm thinking
I was
like
just
Danny
going with
DeVito
it.
got some. Okay,
That's the episode title right there. Danny Meatballs.
there you go.
Nice.
Oh my God, it is. I have to write it down.
Perfect. So I had a memory, and Doug, I don't know if you remember this. So Grandma Gould's South Buffalo house. All right, I remember sleeping over there one night. I was in either a crib or a bed, and I remember looking up. I think the walls were peach-ish colors, and there was a painting of some woman in a dress with like a kind of a random patterned background, but that was hanging up on the wall. If I was looking up and to the left, it was up there on that wall.
Guys, this is really fascinating.
Sorry, that was an early. No, I also have a memory of riding a big wheel through Grandma Steffen's, the late Grandma Steffen's apartment when we lived down there, and I was less than 2 at that point, so I know I was definitely 1 and something. So I have a couple memories fleeting that go way back. What about you guys? And just quickly, anything like really far back?
My first memory was when I was 3 years old, and it was at the time very, very tragic.
Oh no!
I know. Well, it wasn't really tragic, but to me, as a 3-year-old, it was tragic. It was there was this nursery school teacher or some teacher I had when I was 3 years old, and it was her last day. And I remember specifically she was wearing like this bright purple dress, and I was very sad to see her go. That was my very first memory. I bummed everyone out.
I had a memory of a stairwell in a house that we lived in that I don't remember at all for the longest time. And I think the only reason I have a memory of it now is because I used to say I have a memory of it. I remember a little bit of my old preschool grammar school. I remember one day I got in trouble for being around other kids who were getting in trouble. And it always used to happen to me, and I always just really hate that. So I have some memories of that.
What about the time that your face happened to meet some glass? Do you remember that?
Oh, geez, what happened there? I don't know if I remember this.
So, I have 87 stitches that start up there and go all the way down there. I had like 6 there because I put my hand through a window pane kind of, but like a small one at my elementary school, and this got cut, and they had to reattach this. I actually have a headache button. The way the scar tissue formed here is connected to a nerve, so if you touch here, I get a headache within 10 seconds.
Oh my God.
It's crazy that you can't really see, because like You'd think that
my face has always just looked like this.
You'd think that'd be Voldemort kind of symbol on your head or something.
No, I totally have a Harry Potter. I have a Harry Potter.
That's Harry Potter.
But it's
yeah.
Oh, it is Harry Potter. That's scar. That's right. See, this shows you how much I know about Harry Potter.
I don't even know anything about Harry Potter, and I know
but you knew that. I'm so yeah.
My mother says her memory of that was when she was driving to school in a panic and she heard the volunteer fireman whistle and she knew it was for me.
Oh boy.
Pete, do you remember that one birthday you had at a roller rink?
That was my 10th birthday, I think.
I said, "Come on, guys, let's go," and I jumped.
Oh, that was my birthday that happened?
I think it was your birthday because I jumped into that glass pane thinking it was an open door.
Because they had just cleaned it. You could not see anything on that glass. Yeah, Doug literally launched himself full speed into a glass wall.
That was not a small child.
All right, we have to transition because this is the dumbest topic that we've stayed on for 6 minutes. However, have you ever seen the meme that just is making circulations where it's at a preschool and Spider-Man is going to come into the preschool and the kid is so excited to see Spider-Man. He's like 3. He runs full speed into a plate glass window and he just falls.
Oh, no.
And it makes me laugh every single time because little kids are stupid.
Oh, my God. At least he didn't shatter the glass.
Oh, yeah. I put a huge spider web in that glass.
Yeah.
Because you're a big boy. You've always been a big boy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm amazed he didn't just take the glass right out and just keep.
Oh my God! Pete, spin the fucking wheel.
All right, spinning the wheel. It's okay. We made up time. We made up time because it spun faster now. If you could have any celebrity as a best friend, who would you pick and why?
Any celebrity?
Yeah, as a best friend.
Best friend. Oh wow.
Come on, man.
Tough one.
It's only one answer.
All right, John.
There's multiple answers.
Yeah, there's a lot of answers.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds seems really nice. He's
Canadian.
We don't have any problems with Canadians.
I knew you were going to say Ryan Reynolds, and I would actually say Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, I mean that's
then,
it is literally where my head went to the
Mark, you're more a Hugh Jackman. You would sing show tunes with him.
That's true.
You guys would drink together. That seems great.
Absolutely.
He was a little bit of everything.
Melanie likes to say that I was a conversation away from being best friends with Colin Yost and knowing Scarlett Johansson because he went to my high school.
Wow. You were close.
Wow.
Almost.
He went to my high school for 3 out of the 4 years I was there. I went to high school in Manhattan and I lived in Westchester and he lived in Staten Island. So I just never saw him.
Could have owned a boat with him, John.
Could have been friends with Black Widow, Doug.
You would have been part owner of that Staten Island ferry that's like rusting in the. Yeah.
You could have been on
in the water.
Saturday Night Live.
That's right.
I mean, I think so. I'm pretty funny.
I mean,
granted, he went to Harvard and married Scarlett Johansson, and I'm here.
Hey, even if you weren't in the cast, you'd at least you'd have a bit part to say in the audience, right? Like, let's ask a perfectly random audience member a completely question on the spot. And then someone stands up and has a perfectly delivered monologue.
I think I'm focusing on someone now.
So there are many celebrities, but the only one that I'm thinking in my head, because like Rob McElhenney would be cool, right?
Yeah.
But I feel like he might be a little bit much. But then again, this guy would also be a little bit much, and I feel like he would never be my friend, but he'd be awesome. Harrison Ford.
Oh.
Like, could you imagine having 1 to 20 beers with that man and just hearing the crazy
Harrison
fucking
Ford doesn't
stories
have any
he's
friends.
in? I know, that's the problem. But that's why I want it.
Shut the fuck
Well,
up,
the
kid.
problem
Although,
is,
wait, isn't he
he's a
technically
stereotypical
Stephen
old
Bell's
man.
uncle? So, Doug, there's a inside joke that Mel and Steph always had this picture frame on one of their shelves in their parents' house growing up, and they kept putting a picture of Harrison Ford on there and putting it next to all their other family photos until their parents would notice and be like, "What is this doing here?" And they're like, "That's Uncle Harry."
The joke is they had no actual family. They don't have any familial uncles or they have some cousins. Like,
but so a lot of them are in Puerto Rico, and it's
so just some random white guy with the same last name, but they never could. Mom, our mother-in-law is not that observant, and she never found it. She just never found it for years.
Eventually
and she'd find
she
it
did.
after like 4 years, and then they just moved it.
Right, they just put it back. They'd put it back like
It was
the
there
next
for
day.
years.
Do you guys still have it?
I love the response was that's Uncle Harry.
Yeah. Or Unky.
right.
Actually, Steph says Unky Harry sometimes. Unky Harry.
Do you think anyone actually calls him Harry?
No, I'm sure no.
Do you know where that picture frame belongs?
Where's that?
In the
It belongs in a museum.
Hey, there we go.
Whoa, I did that exactly when you guys did it with the soundbite. That's funny. All right. Anybody else?
All right, do we have time for one more?
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, no, but we could do one more because that's 3.
One more question
I
or one
am
more
reasonable
favorite
with
celebrity?
One more question, Pete.
One more question. Here we go.
Quick fire, bro.
Quick. What's a
Fire equals 7 minutes.
All right. What's a fictional character you really relate to?
Homer Simpson.
Oh!
It's like
Wow.
my favorite cartoon as a kid.
Do you have a
Peter
forbidden donut?
Parker.
It's good.
What's that?
Peter Parker.
Doug, do you have a forbidden donut?
Forbidden donut.
No, they
Does
don't.
the forbidden
they don't
donut
last.
have? Does the forbidden donut have sprinkles?
Oh, but I'm so tasty.
Are the sprinkles
does your
cursed?
boss often go like this and say, excellent?
I had a boss that did that.
Amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah, no, Homer Simpson.
I always really liked. I mean, Spider-Man probably my favorite comic book character,
Yeah.
and I always related to Peter Parker, just like a little bit snarky, a little bit misunderstood. Internal feelings of heroism, like most, 40 now, 40-year-old white men. I like to feel like I'm a hero, even though I'm not. So,
I can't think of
You're
one.
my hero, John.
Yeah, I can't think of any either.
Thanks, Doug.
Well, it saves us some time.
Am I your hero, Mark?
You're always my hero,
Yeah.
John. I love to see you every week. Feel the love. Feel the love.
Can you feel
the love tonight?
Tonight.
Amazing. You guys are.
All right.
What a great
Beautiful.
segue to the next segment.
Yes.
Actually, it's not at all. And now we want to hear what's been bothering Pete in our new segment. What grinds Pete's balls?
Oh, yeah. Right, I forgot. I got to do something. So I have 2 things. One is short form and one is long form. The short form one kind of flows into the long form. So the short form one is Liam had his 15-month checkup, and it went pretty well. But amongst the things at the end is always the dreaded immunization shots where he's unsuspecting and then gets poked and is screaming for a couple minutes. So one of the
And he
ones
gets
he
very
got today
tired.
was chicken pox. And you know what really grinds my balls is that when it came to Liam, and now, thankfully in the future, there's a vaccine for that. He's fine. He'll never get chicken pox in his entire life. Thus, he'll never get shingles. We, on the other hand, our parents took us to fucking chicken pox parties. Like,
They
what
did.
the, like, where we all get it, and now we're all prone to shingles at any time.
Listen, the last time you talked about this, I was like, I don't think my parents did that.
That was a thing in Western New York, at least, or at least my parents did.
I don't think. we
Oh,
went
no,
to
my
a
parents
party,
definitely
but
did that.
We all got it. I had shingles actually during
Did
the
you really?
pandemic.
Ugh.
That was fucking terrible. It was
Yeah.
the most. I don't
Painful,
get depressed.
right?
I was depressed. It was
Oh.
horrible.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
fucking doctor wouldn't prescribe any pain medication. So I was
you
actually
serious?
taking they're fucking assholes.
Wow.
So I was taking my mother-in-law had a surgery, so she had leftover codeine,
Mm.
Tylenol. So I was taking those. That was
That's
I
the
didn't
heavy
even say
stuff, yeah.
oxy.
no, it was not oxy.
Oof.
Although at the time, like pot wasn't legal, but now
Oh, that would have helped probably a ton.
that would have been fantastic.
It at least would have put you in a better mood.
Oh, seriously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was bad, and I had it in my all over my head, in my face, actually in my eye.
Oh, what the? In your eye?
It
Yeah.
follows your nerve endings.
Oh god.
It was terrible.
Yeah, that's
It was
why people think that
terrible.
it's a serious case of nerve damage. It can be misdiagnosed as that a lot. Didn't that happen to Mel?
It
Like
was-
she thought it was like a nerve issue.
No, she knew it was shingles right away.
Okay.
They misdiagnosed
hurts.
it as cellulitis. So they had me on medication that wasn't doing anything, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. Yeah, it was horrible.
Freaking A.
Of course, it's right in the middle of a pandemic.
You get it when you're worn down. So Melanie got Melanie got a cortisone shot to fix pain, and then another to fix pain, which also wears down your immunities. And then she got COVID because her immunities were wearing down. And then at the end of COVID, she got shingles because fuck her life.
The freaking gauntlet.
Right. So, I have never gotten. I mean, I think I had chickenpox twice. I haven't gotten anything close to shingles. I'm pretty healthy though, knock on wood. I don't.
Wait, you got chickenpox twice?
How do you get it twice? So. Actually, if you have a minor enough case, you can get it a second time. I've heard that's
really.
The thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
The more you know.
I got a thing called Fifth's disease, which is another weird childhood spot illness where I had it was weird. I looked like I had a mesh jacket. It was so fucked up. I had mesh marks on me because I thought I had a weird sunburn for a little while.
Oh man,
no good.
All right, so that was the thing. It was it's amazing how draconian things were.
Long form.
Okay, long form. So this brings me up to a much bigger thing. Is we now have a pretty much head of health and safety in the U.S. that doesn't believe in vaccines at all. So thus, measles is coming back, making a comeback. Pretty soon we're going to have major cases of polio and God knows what else.
I mean, measles was making a comeback before Robert Kennedy showed up, though.
Not in the last 10 years.
Not like it is right now.
There's been a sect of idiots that are,
There has been a sect of idiots.
There have been people doing measles parties.
Yeah, well, you know what? I call that survival of the fittest.
I mean, I guess that is one silver lining to it. There's Darwinian.
If the idiots die off, then the smart people survive.
Vaccinations cause adults.
Yeah. So this is all stemming from, just to clear the air, yes, there was one person that decided to publish a study out of thousands of doctors that seemed to link vaccines to autism. It was debunked and later refuted by the same guy that put it out, admitting it was fucking lying.
Well, he had a vaccine.
Just doing it for clicks.
He was trying to. Wasn't it for clicks? He was trying to sell vaccinations. It was a vaccination company. He was false advertising against
like a competitor,
another set of
one?
A competitor.
Okay,
and I think he got disbarred.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. He lost his medical license.
I would hope so. And yet this proliferated, and a bunch of idiots took it on and made it gospel. And now we have
what you will see is the time that you get your MMR. Your children get their MMR is about the time correlatively that autism symptoms develop, and so obviously
correlation is not causation.
Obviously, if you drink the water, it's poison if you die.
Well, obviously. I mean that kind of happened with us and Sam. All of his things that started kind of highlighting that he had something going on was, of course, all during the time. 2 to 6 months when you're getting all the vaccinations. And if you're dumb, you would think that the vaccinations caused his genetic mutation, which happened at conception.
And they have some ways to test for that now, I'm sure, but I'm sure you don't really know the full developmental story at first.
Right. I mean, they can test for certain things, but his genetic mutation was so new. They just discovered it fully a couple of years before he was born. And at the time,
God, I'm sorry. You finished.
That's okay.
At the time, it's important.
It's okay. At the time, there was only 30 something cases known worldwide.
Wow,
damn,
that's crazy.
That is crazy rare.
Right. Well, now there's hundreds and hundreds of kids because they know what to look for.
I was going to say, do you feel like that's more just they know to find it, and it's just a lot went undiagnosed before?
Yes, because it's a genetic mutation. They're not really known until they can test for them, and genetic testing has really not been a huge thing in the last decade.
Right. And I mean, mutations
decades,
are just that they're evolving, they're changing, but probably not that fast, where suddenly hundreds would pop up.
Sure. I mean, genetic mutations in real life, if Sam was born, 100 years ago, he wouldn't have survived.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they just didn't have the medication to kind of help him along. But now that medication is as good as it is, these mutations happen, and but he's doing great. But if you didn't know any of that stuff, you're like, oh my God, these shots that this doctor gave my kid did this to him.
Yeah.
So
well, and a lot of all first-time parents are idiots when it comes to reactions in your children.
Sure.
And you're just like a fear animal, and you're just reacting to things. You're just like,
I remember
what the fuck just happened?
Right.
we gave Nora a new cereal once, and she was like, I don't know, maybe a year, and it was I don't know, Cinnamon Twist Crunch or something, and she started breaking out in hives, and it was May. We were at a farmer's market, so we rushed her over to the doctor. He's like, it's a heat rash.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, because what the fuck are you how do you know? You
Right.
know, you don't know.
Right.
Yeah. That's the thing. Just don't always assume the first thing is what it is, and do your research. Do you remember the old saying, trust but verify? I feel like there's so much blind trust in like, hey, some guy on Reddit said this thing.
Well, it's where you're getting your information. If you're getting your information from some guy on Reddit,
too many
probably
people
not a
believe
good
the
source.
internet. Too many people believe the internet over professionals, which is
Right.
the same thing happened during the pandemic.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean,
So I guess that's my rant. Is
a
just
bunch of
idiots.
professionals
Just-
are also lying to you
against
right
idiots.
now.
well, there's that too. You got to know who to talk to.
Yeah.
You just have to use your common sense as a person separate from other people.
Yes, but the thing is, though, if somebody is idiotic about something, that's okay. You can change. Think about it, and just take a little bit more time. Look at multiple different viewpoints. Figure it out. Find a research paper. Find something that verifies it. Something that has information.
That's
that
too
was
much
actually
effort for
done
people,
by
Pete.
somebody.
I did my
Really
research. I went on the Facebooks, and my friend told me I was right.
So just be careful.
We'll just
you
use
know.
common sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not enough of it in this world right now.
Okay, that's enough of that depressing stuff. Let's move on to something more fun.
Good to get it out,
Yeah, that's what it is, and that's what really grinds my balls. All right.
All right, everyone, shall we kick off the shindig?
Please.
yeah.
All right,
Yes.
I thought of one in my head just now. Ready?
Good.
I want to know first topic. I want you to show me.
Ba, 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 ba.
Nice. Show us. I mean, you knock the
So it
song
was
out of
announced-
the park and then silence.
I want to feel the first topic.
Whoa.
I have a long stretch. I need to cut down the space between my first topic and the songs. It was announced earlier today that Trey Hendrickson was told that he could seek a trade. Therefore, after franchise tagging T. Higgins, it seems like the Bengals are all in for their offense and will think about whether or not they want to play defense.
I mean,
With Joey Bosa also looking for a new team and the off-mentioned Myles Garrett looking for a new home, the market for pass rushers is lucrative, and that also includes a pretty good draft class. So everyone, tell me your pitch on why Trey Hendrickson or Myles Garrett should join your respective team.
Don't join the Giants.
hey,
Because we need a wide receiver.
No, because
but we also need we need D end. And
I mean, if
wanna
you
win a
guys-
Super Bowl, come help us out.
tell you what, all those guys, the Myles Garretts and the Trey Hendricksons and the what's it face, Michael Parsons, like all the really major defensive like diamonds need to go to team. They want to go to teams that are going to win this year.
Yeah.
So they want to go to Buffalo, and they want to go to Chicago. Chicago's still building. They want to go to Detroit. I mean, Detroit. If what's his face didn't shatter his tibia, Detroit would have been much better. I mean, so what's that? No,
Well, that's even more reason for
I'm surprised not
Detroit
Philly
to pick
though,
up
but-
either Garrett or Hendrickson, so you can have two good pass rushers. I mean,
right.
So all right, Mr. Feyes and Mr. Steffen, why should one of these guys want to go to Buffalo, and which one would you rather have?
This is why right
Good
here,
question.
MVP.
Play
Yes,
with an MVP.
Josh Allen.
What do you think, Doug?
I mean,
Both of them.
Ah,
you got to look at
I
it
mean,
like
the,
this.
The salary cap's
last
not
year
real, right?
shouldn't. Last year, we should not have been as good as we were. And it's because of
That
our
is a
MVP
true fact.
quarterback that he brought us, to the AFC Championship game.
I know.
Next year, we're just going to be better. We're just going to be better. And we've got the draft or the what do you call it? The money available. Some of the old contracts are
What
gone.
gift are you guys going to give the Chiefs this year?
Oh, they better not open that book again. That was
Xavier Worthy
that was
book?
horrific.
Yeah, I don't know.
As a
Six
callback,
Six touchdowns in the
Bills-
playoffs.
Yeah,
Like
the
a
Bills
14
traded their draft pick last year to the Chiefs, and the Chiefs picked up Mr. Xavier.
Yeah,
Did you see every skill player this past Saturday said he was faster than Xavier Worthy, and no one came within 0.1 seconds of him,
I saw that.
or a tenth of a second of him? That is.
Wait, who's faster than Worthy?
Which is a lot in the 40.
No, 3 or 4 players said they would run faster 40s than Xavier Worthy, and
in
no
the
one
combine.
came in the combine, and no one came close
I mean,
by a tenth of a second.
It's he had the fastest time of all time in the combine. Now, quick aside from that, so he ran a 4.22, I think it was, or 4.21, whatever the official time was. They tracked figuratively what Usain Bolt's 40 would have been if you took the first
4.21.
Yep. Okay. So they don't start clocking you in the combine 40 until you've started moving. So you basically eliminate the starting gun reaction time delay, right? So that's a kind of an equalizer for just trying to measure the speed, not just your reaction time. So Olympics and track racing is not that way. You have one universal gun because it's a race against people directly. Your reaction time is important, and they will disqualify you if you are faster than a tenth of a second because they're like, you're cheated, basically. Like, you can't react that fast. So someone was able to find Usain Bolt's down to every 10-meter splits and his reaction time and everything, and did the math. Guess what Usain Bolt would have run at the NFL Combine if you took his world record 100-meter dash
Under 4.
pace? Not under 4, but
10 seconds.
4 point, yes. 4.08.
Woo!
Wow.
Yeah.
How fast is that in miles per hour, Pete?
I think over 25. When he was at top speed.
Now wait. Kind of shortening his 100 speed to 40 yards probably is the right conversion, because you're not going off at full speed when you first start either. So
no, they literally took his time split at 40
time.
yards. At the 40-yard marker of his 100.
Oh, I gotcha.
It included the start. And that is the thing, though. He was still accelerating.
Yeah.
So in classic, if these balls could talk fashion, this has nothing to do with defensive players. So
sorry.
You guys still have.
You knocked us off track.
Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Myles Garrett, or would you rather have Trey Hendrickson?
How old is Hendrickson? Because really, that's the only thing to me.
They are both about the same age. So Myles Garrett is 28. Trey Hendrickson is 29.
Okay, but I think Garrett's going to turn 29
30.
at the start of the season. Hendrickson is 30?
Well, all right. I'm sorry. This was at the end of the season. So Hendrickson will be 30, and Myles Garrett's going to be 29.
No, Hendrickson is 30. He was born in 94.
Okay, so Hendrickson...
I want Josh to have weapons. That's what I want.
I think we need... I think both things need to happen.
You don't need weapons.
No, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
He could throw the ball to fans and still have 30 touchdowns. It's not the point.
But Doug, you saw how Philly kicked the shit out of Kansas City with their D-line.
Yes,
true.
And that's something that Buffalo is not... Every time the Bills have lost, it wasn't the offense's fault in the playoffs. Maybe against the Bengals, because of that was a stupid snow game and whatever.
Well, our defense...
The defensive line has been
our defense
a turnstile.
What did it?
They get zero quarterback pressure.
You can't get 30 points a game and expect to win every game. That's offense does not win professional sports games ever, especially in the playoffs.
Look at Cincinnati.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You take Myles Garrett onto that line, and I still think of the two, I'd probably prefer him. I just feel like the raw talent is that much higher. You're going to pay up the wazoo for either one. Although, is Hendrickson a free agent, or is he wanting to trade?
He is. Next year will be the last year of his rookie deal.
Oh, okay.
He was trying to get a big contract, just like Max Crosby just signed. He signed like a 3-year, $101 million or something like that. I do want to. So you guys still didn't answer the question.
I would still take Garrett, I think, but Hendrickson would be. I'd be fine with either one.
So Trey
Myles
Hendrickson
Garrett,
was the sack leader in the NFL last year by 3.5 over Myles Garrett. They are number one and number two.
Career sacks
Mm-hmm.
by a lot.
Well, we also haven't had very good luck of picking up veterans on the defense and actually having them perform.
Yeah,
I mean, Von Miller did really well at the beginning of the season, but then he got
that was just a bad pickup.
Vaughn was also 34. He was 6 years older than Garrett.
Myles Garrett has 6 more solo tackles than Trey Hendrickson, but 6 less assisted tackles. They're essentially the same player.
Sounds pretty similar.
Yeah,
honestly.
they're both 6'4". They're both about 270.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Myles has more sacks and more forced fumbles, but Trey Hendrickson had a better sack year last year.
Garrett is
personally, I would love to see. I don't think Myles Garrett's going to go to the Patriots because he wants to be on a contender. But I would love to see Trey Hendrickson as a Patriot. And the Patriots have a lot of cap space.
I could see that.
Most cap space in the NFL.
Yeah. So
you're going to keep that cap space,
Doug,
Mark.
to satiate your desire for more weapons for Josh. How do we get one of those two and DK Metcalf at the same time?
Don't steal my thunder, bitch.
Oh, sorry. That was teasing to come up soon in a future topic.
We're going to talk about it literally.
Oh my
next.
God,
Awesome.
John, take that soundbite and put it on the soundboard. Don't steal my thunder, bitch.
Right.
We should end on that topic.
Okay, so there's a song called I got a song for our next topic if we want to move to that.
Go ahead.
All right. So I think the song is called Blood Buzz. It was one of those ones on like EQX as an alternative one, but it's very pertinent to right now based on an earlier conversation. I was taken to next topic in a swarm of bees.
Not the bees.
The bees. The bees.
The bees.
If that movie, everyone should watch all the Nick Cage movies.
There was a Nick Cage movie. I just watched it on Hulu. It was post-apocalyptic. He's got 2 sons, and they're basically surviving in this farmhouse. And there's these creatures that came up out of the ground and just start killing everyone. It's pretty wild.
Damn.
I don't remember what it's called, but it's pretty good.
I'd watch that.
In Wicker Man, where the bees are sicked on Nick Cage, he punches a nun in the face. Nick Cage is a man.
Yeah.
It's a real man. All right. So, as Pete teased, we're going to talk about something. So 6 years ago now, the Buffalo Bills missed an incredibly athletic, field-stretching wide receiver in the draft in DK Metcalf.
Everybody did. He was picked in the 2nd round.
Instead of getting an underwhelming offensive lineman in Cody Ford that year. This week, Metcalf, who was in contract negotiations, asked the Seahawks for a trade. And with the Bills' need being very clear for everyone, the speculation of them being a landing spot began almost right away. So Metcalf is certainly a difference maker. Is he going to be worth the severe cost of the estimates currently tabbed at a first-round pick in the upcoming draft and approximately $93 million over 3 years? Also, is the offense even the right place to spend? Also talking about a serious amount of money for the Bills in this offseason.
Yes.
So you're going to spend offensive...
Yeah, you guys probably can't get a number one receiver and a pass rusher in the trade market.
Salary cap's not real, Mark. Come on. Just shuffle some contracts around
do you
here.
Think you are,
switch this to a signing bonus.
Josh just signed a deal with a Hollywood company to make way more money than he's making.
Oh yeah,
in his entire contract.
People make so much more in endorsements than they do.
So he'll probably give up his entire salary just to get a team to win a Super Bowl.
Isn't that kind of what Brady did, though? It's not unprecedented. Wasn't Brady only taking like $2 million against the salary cap for like 5 years so they can just win Super Bowl after freaking Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, he's restructured his contract every year because he's like, we need to win a Super Bowl. Give me a team that can win.
Is he still making at least $40 million though?
I believe so.
I think it's 43.
Yeah. You know how much Daniel Jones is making or was? Yeah, because they're
the new
equal players.
the new starting quarterback to the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, they're equally deserving of the same amount of money. Clearly,
You know, Schaefer said today in an interview that he has talked to multiple head coaches and saying that if all their journeyman thoughts don't work out, that Daniel Jones is in the conversation for multiple teams, which is insane, by the way.
I don't even understand that.
in a world.
Then I read another thing today. Fucking Lillian, it's a good thing I like you. Cursed me with that Aaron Jones is in serious talks with the New York Giants.
What's wrong with that?
But not Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron
yes,
Rodgers.
that's much different. I was like, Aaron Jones is a respectable player, and he may be near retirement, but I
Brian
take him.
Dable, what are you doing?
Please don't do
all right,
that, Giants.
Because they're
back
so
to the
desperate
topic.
for a veteran.
So,
Yes, we
hold
need
on.
to talk
What year
about
was
it. You
back-
can't have both.
What year was
You can't
Metcalf
have
draft?
both.
Sure, we can.
6 years ago, I
Hey,
told you.
the Rams did it. The Rams said fuck all in 2021, and they just sacrificed 4 first-round draft picks and all of their cap space and won a Super Bowl.
Did you see how well that went?
They won a Super Bowl. It
And
worked.
then they didn't.
Didn't matter.
Oh,
It
but
worked.
it's LA,
They were back
so
in the
no one really
playoffs in
gives a
2
shit.
years. Plus, Stafford was hurt that
Only-
entire next year.
Only because they like tripped into Puka Nacua.
And you
Hey?
you think McDermott is as good of a coach as Sean McVay?
No, but it doesn't matter. We have Josh Allen.
Listen, if
All
we
right.
win a Super Bowl, this this city will be on a high that will last.
But
decades. I mean,
okay, and let's talk about that a little more though. DK Metcalf is very good at football, but he's not Jamar Chase. I mean,
No, but they're not
And
going to get
I don't know
Jamar
if he's
Chase.
but
yeah,
we
I don't know if
even
he's that
have
good
anyone
anymore.
close.
and I don't know. 6
that.
years in, is he a $30 million a year guy?
Probably not, but someone's going to pay him that.
Yeah,
You
someone's
guys
gonna
don't
pay
think
him
that he's still
Although-
got it? He's had Geno
he can
Smith.
jump 10
Granted, Geno
feet in
has
the
played
air.
better football than he's ever played in his career. but it's
Jackson
still,
Smith and Jigba completely overtook him as the number one receiver
Yeah,
on
Yeah.
Seattle.
yeah,
And I think that's the only. I think his butt hurt's hurt, so that's why he wants to get traded.
it could very well be. But
I agree,
Jackson
by the way.
Smith and Jigma is a more possession-based, high volume type of
I
receiver.
think DK's.
So it makes
if
sense.
DK should the best place for him to stay is actually the team that he's currently on.
Makes sense.
Now, is he going to be the number one receiver anymore? No, but he's still going to get the ball a lot.
They also jettisoned Tyler Lockett, so that may free up some
They did.
some targets for him on Seattle as well.
no, he'll leave.
I mean-
I don't see any
I'm
other
not
place.
100% convinced that he's going to get traded.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be so cool. Like, can we just talk about it though, pretending that it does happen? What that would look like?
The reason I had to talk about it is I've always known that Pete is a big DK Metcalf fan. After he filmed that video that looked like CG where he jumped 10 feet in the air.
He looks like the Hulk,
Yeah,
Well,
does.
and they're like, he's
Remember,
gonna be
you-
slow as hell at the combine.
he's not.
And he runs a 4.3.
Yeah. Do you guys remember how he chased down that DB from like all the way from the other side of the field?
Yep.
Like
So
that was
he
happened,
Don
like, 3
BB
years
the guy.
ago.
Oh,
He
God.
Don BB the guy.
Amazing.
He was like super Don BB though.
Super Don. Yeah, well, if Don Beebe like grew a foot taller and got muscles on top of his muscles, yes.
Yeah. So,
I
I
mean-
mean, yes, it would be cool. He's better than anyone you have.
He's better than any wide receiver you have, but he's not going to. I don't think he's a number one anymore.
I don't think
Well,
the
he
Bills
would
need
be
a number one.
one with the Bills.
Okay, would he be an upgrade over what Amari Cooper gave the Bills last year? I think so.
Obviously.
So over
Obviously.
nothing.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, Cooper did help Josh Allen get the play where Josh recorded a touchdown pass and reception in the same
I mean,
play.
that was super cool.
So that was part of it. But yeah, I think Metcalf would be a lot more useful in general.
Sure.
And does he match well with Coleman?
Yes, because they're exactly the opposite. He is what they want Coleman to be, and Coleman is not.
Yeah,
Well,
that's cool.
he will be. I mean, he did get injured for a majority of the season.
But Coleman never, ever measured any good as an outside X receiver, and that's what they're trying to... They're literally trying to shove a square peg in a round hole with him. And I just don't think Coleman's going to
But
work
he
out.
wears the yellow jacket, Pete.
I know. I love his personality. He's freaking awesome, and I want him to be amazing. But I can't see anything other than a slower Gabe Davis with slightly better hands and a much better personality. That's what he is. He's Gabe Davis part two.
Gabe Davis was
He
good
was
in that one
okay
game.
as a wide receiver 4.
He was good at that one game.
In that one, I mean, that one game was great. That was an amazing
Here's
game.
the thing about the Buffalo
That's true.
Bills. Khalil Shakir, who y'all tried to convince me as a number one anywhere. He's not.
No, he's not a number one anywhere. But
he's a good slot.
He's a very good slot receiver. He's an excellent wide receiver 2-3-ish on any team.
He doesn't need to be great. And so the money you have needs to shore up that defense that's not very good.
I would
and
still...
that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about the fact that you need to get a Trey Hendrickson or a Myles Garrett or another top 5 defensive back.
I mean,
that's period. Hard stop.
Bills don't need a top 5 defensive back.
Or a defensive line.
Oh, defensive line. Yeah. Because I actually think they're okay at corner. I mean, yes, they need to replace Rasul Douglas, but that's not going to be that hard.
He's retiring.
Yeah. Oh, is he really? Wow.
I think so. I think
okay.
I mean, if you did that, if you put pressure on opposing quarterbacks, they wouldn't score 30 points a game on you.
Okay, so what about... Okay, instead of trading the farm for like Myles Garrett and those guys and to address defense to do that good enough to where you could get someone like Metcalf, what about Josh Sweat from the Eagles? He's a free agent. He's a free agent, so you don't give up any draft capital.
He's okay, but he's not a Myles Garrett.
No, but the Eagles didn't have a Myles Garrett either, and look what they did. Granted, they had like 7 guys as good as Josh Sweat.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's an option.
The thing about the Eagles
Josh Sweat
is
would easily be the best defensive end on the Bills. Probably the best defensive lineman, period, on the Bills.
That doesn't make them a hell of a pass rush, though.
No, but you get him, and you get maybe one
Josh
or two
Sweat,
other $10-ish million people.
I feel like Josh Sweat was really, his stats were enhanced only because of their 2 interior defensemen, Jordan Davis and the other guy. Because essentially, listen, you can't double team everyone on the defensive line. Someone's got to get through, and Josh Sweat took advantage of that.
But I trust Buffalo to get a better defensive tackle in this year's draft, which is loaded with defensive tackles, than I do a defensive end. So, like, if they get Josh Sweat and guess what? If they got Metcalf for a second plus some other collateral, maybe next year's first as well, I'm fine with that. And use their first round pick this year and maybe even one of their seconds and double up on a rookie D end and a D tackle in the first round. That is
this is potentially the year to get a rookie. This is you're right. Defensive tackles and defensive ends there's a lot of good ones in this draft.
And I know the Bills are picking next to last. I bet you the D ends are flashy. They're going to go first.
They'll have someone fall to them, I think.
Yep. So that's where the Bills should trade for a big name or get a free agent, and then they can just draft a D tackle and then get a D Metcalf.
A D Metcalf, and that's it.
We're screwed next year because we
that's a walk off.
We released our punter today.
Oh, I know.
Oh no!
It's all right. Justin Tucker will become available.
Drink for
Not that we need a punter.
Yeah. Why do we need a punter?
We don't.
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Punters are for losers.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, here it comes. Watch out, boy, it'll chew you up. Oh, here it comes. It's the next topic.
I think it's one of my favorites that you've ever done. That was great.
So Major League Baseball is experimenting with a new appeal system for balls and strikes that is called the Automated Ball Strike System, or others have also called it Hawkeye. This is something that has already been fully implemented in the minor leagues, and the same might occur for the majors next season. The way that it works
doing
is
it in spring training.
They're currently doing in spring training. The way that it works is that each team has 2 challenges for the whole game. After a pitch is thrown, the pitcher, catcher, or batter can appeal the umpire's call. If it is successful, then the team gets the challenge back. However, if it is not, then they lose that challenge. Now, while MLB has been working diligently to hasten the game with things like the pitch clock, this could surely slow down the game. However, the minor leagues have only seen a 17-second bump in the average length of game. So everyone, how do we feel about the use of robotic appeals on balls and strikes?
I mean, I love it. I don't love the way that it's being implemented right now, and I just think like the tap your helmet, the show it on the scoreboard is slow and clunky as shit.
It seems slow.
What if
now? Let's just think about it for a second. What if we just got rid of the umpires?
I mean, AI and robots are taking over everything else. Why not?
If the system's already in play, I mean, we're not even going down that, right? But if the system is already in play, if we can prove that it's perfect, who gives a shit? Make the fucking batter's box. Make the batter's box turn green if it's a strike and red if it's a ball. Like easy. Like who cares?
Yeah. Although
I think pitchers would hate it if the umps actually, or if the actual strike zone was called though.
Yeah, but I mean,
but
Like Max
Now-
Scherzer hates these.
Okay.
these
there
robotic
is a degree that we have to think about. How much of baseball is live calls?
yeah, would you guys miss that kind of variance between umpires, like umpires having a personality and each one having their own kind of custom strike zone? Like, I know that's been part of baseball for a long time. Is it that important? Like, would people really get pissed if that went away?
I mean, no one's watching a baseball game to see the ump strike zone.
I mean, I do.
I mean, in a lot of
I
respects,
almost had drink
You
come
almost
out.
snarf.
Yes.
Nice.
That was my goal.
Snarf.
Excellent.
There is a degree of the game that is the flexibility of the strike zone, and by that I mean once you learn it, it should stay consistent. The strike zone is more of an accuracy measurement. Like, as long as everything's in the same place, most batters and pitchers don't mind. It's when it starts getting inaccurate, even if it's not in the perfect knee to solar plexus range, right? Now, what's interesting about the AMS is there is a degree of difference based on height. So, like, the Jose Altuve strike zone is a lot physically smaller than the Aaron Judge strike zone because it has to be.
well, everything's shorter than Aaron Judge, so.
Well,
Okay.
Jose Altuve is like my height, and Aaron Judge is like 6'11". He's
All right.
the biggest man.
Yeah,
So you
there's a whole
can't-
foot.
So you can't get away with the equivalent of like 007 on the N64 where you just pick odd job because his hitbox was half the size of everybody else and nobody could
I mean,
shoot.
that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that an accurate strike zone would change the game in a way that would be that detrimental, because right now, umpires get rated by analytics and percentage-wise, and there's websites that are about how accurate an umpire was. And inaccurate umpires, they get less games. They don't get playoff games. I mean, you have to be good at your job to be good at your job.
Well,
All right.
then explain how Angel
so then
Hernandez got all those important games.
I don't fucking know. So
Okay.
I don't think I would mind it as long as someone
Stereotypical,
was.
the worst umpire ever. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I would mind it as long as someone was maybe yelling, "Boss!" You know, like as long as it felt like baseball. Who
I mean,
gives a shit?
yeah, I guess he's just reading off a teleprompter at that point. Okay, so would you guys?
Just had voice from God from like the PA system.
Yeah.
It's like,
Sure.
ball.
It has to be. It has to be equally as unintelligible, though.
But then, like, we would still need umpires in the game. The foul line still needs to be watched. Tags still need to be watched. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
it's only one aspect of a very
Not if you add
complicated job.
8 million sensors onto the field, John.
That's true. Tag everything. So,
That's the future of baseball.
do you
right
want?
there, isn't
Would
it?
you
If
want this
just-
to be
Amazon Web
sensors.
Services
Yeah,
analytics.
Amazon Web
I mean, that's
Services.
the future of any sport.
Sure.
Yeah, probably.
So,
they
would
have
you
that
want this
technology to do
implemented
it.
100%, or what if it was a hybrid approach, where kind of like the NFL Challenge, where it was an umpire calling it himself or herself until maybe like each
Their
manager got 2 challenges in a game?
I mean, that's what it is.
Well, that's what it is
That's
now,
what
yeah.
it's going to be.
Oh,
It's
it is,
going to be a
okay.
challenge system.
Okay.
And I think putting the impetus on the players to call their challenges, their like instant replays, as it were, like in the NFL, like
Yeah.
in the NHL. I mean, it's how it all exists is probably the best way to do it.
That was my
Making
thought
it
when you
so-
guys broached this topic. I
But I
thought
mean,
about
making
it
it
earlier
so that if you call it at a poor time, then you waste it. That happens in basketball all the time. It's a whole strategy of when to call your challenges because you lose them if you call them at a bad time. And so, I mean,
You only have 2 of them, right? You get
You get 2 for the whole game.
yeah.
Well,
So-
you get 2 losses on this or on the whole game. Because if you keep winning your appeals, then you get them right back.
they're keeping stats in the spring training of who's been very good at their appeals and who's been very bad at their appeals. Because I mean, a lot of really good batters have a really strong like sense of their strike zone, and then they
Isn't this
know.
just going to add to the time of the game? Wasn't
Yeah,
it? They were
it
trying
is.
to make
Well-
the games faster.
Doug, I
Yeah,
just
but-
said that.
Yeah, Mark did say that at the average. What did you say? The average time of a game only increased 17 seconds with this
17 seconds in the minors. Yep.
over the entire game.
Or
With the system?
Yeah.
with the system in play. Yep. Because they've been using it in the minors for a couple of years now.
That's time I could have used to order another hot dog or something. I don't know.
Or beer.
Oh, wait. Actually, no, there'd be
You're
more
a
time
hot
to order
dog.
that hot dog or beer because you have 17 more seconds.
17.
There you go.
Hey,
Doug's in now.
And there we go. Wrap it up.
Okay, I got one. Do you believe in UFOs, astral projections, mental telepathy, ESP, clairvoyance, spirit photography, telekinetic movement, full trance mediums, the Loch Ness Monster, and the theory of Atlantis? If there's a next topic in it, I'll believe anything you say.
If I hired Ray Stantz, Pete Venkman.
I love that they got
Here's
the
how to
same
clean a
lady
trap,
to
and he's like, "What? What the fuck?"
I love that they got the same lady to come back and do this 2 sequel movies.
Oh yeah,
She's in them both.
Annie Potts.
Annie Potts. Yeah,
Potts.
she's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Mark, we're going to do the other question. Tesla's Optimus bot, this was a few weeks ago, starting to make its way into the homes of the very rich at a price tag of $10,000. It seems almost aggressively priced for those that can't afford it. And when this happened, Tesla's career page, a job appeared, data collection operator. So this job would involve walking a predetermined test route in a motion capture suit and VR headset to better track human movements and then use them in their development. So there are going to be height and fitness requirements for the job, but it's going to pay for a manual labor job a whopping $48 an hour. So this seems like an awfully aggressive step and reminds me essentially of every sci-fi robot overlord warning movie that I've ever watched. Would we apply for this job, and what do we think the next step is from Tesla in their robotics journey and other tech companies as well?
I have one question. Did it look like this? Or does the robot look like this? And if you're watching online, you'd see it's a picture of Bicentennial Man.
Have you seen the Optimus robots? They kind of do.
They kind of are awesome.
This is a gimmick.
To me, it just seems like a toy for super rich people that will
the
never
Optimus
understand.
bot, when it was announced, was at an event, and the reporters at the event did sleuth. They just asked if the bots were autonomous or if they weren't autonomous, and they said these are not autonomous bots. They are not sold.
Even though they're being sold like that.
We are people in a lab driving them. I believe now that they're selling them that they are more autonomous, AI driven, or some such. Right.
I don't know what's worse though.
Some
dude like looking through
point,
the eyes of this robot with a camera basically in your house driving.
No, but I don't think that's
stuff?
what's happening right now, because that's ridiculous. Because they would have to literally have someone on 24/7 standby. I mean, maybe a Tesla because they're the devil, but I don't think that's how that really works. But what's the difference between, like, I know Amazon sells like a little robot dog that gets you beer, right? Like, what's the difference between, like, what can this thing do? Like, carrying your groceries, probably. I've seen that. Do little dances, serve drinks. I mean, like, but for 10 grand, who gives a shit? Like, if you're a rich person, $10,000 isn't a lot of money at all,
so
honestly.
I listened to this podcast where this guy interviews like CEOs of startup tech companies. You cannot make a fully autonomous robot for under $50,000. It's just impossible to do actual, like, the robot doesn't need programming outside, doesn't need updates. It just is an assistant to you.
Like Rosie from the
can't do it.
Jetsons kind of level.
Right.
Okay.
So this out of Tesla is a complete joke. Plus, I wouldn't trust anything.
Shots fired.
Damn.
Yeah, well, I mean, I wouldn't trust anything out of Elon Musk right now.
How about we back that out and relate it to something like the Spot robot that is being used in industrial applications that Boston Dynamics has put out? And so Spot is
that
a
has
dog,
a very specific list of functions.
And the Spot robot also is bringing. You can actually buy. Hey Dane's friend who runs a kind of a programming lab for children. They actually got a Spot robot to program, so you can tell the Spot to do anything you want because they're programmable. But the idea for industrial applications for Spot is you can just tell Spot to go into places that are in Doug's job, like dangerous places, hard hat places. You can tell them to go into places with like industrial chemicals or like bad conditions like heat or bad air, and they can carry shit to you, right? So the idea of that seems really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure. And, and with like, just bringing back that podcast I listened to, the way the guy was talking about it, in like 20 years, this is absolutely possible and less. And I was just thinking about like, how could that be used, as an autonomous robot companion? And I immediately started thinking about, Sam, when he's an adult, having an assistant robot that can actually lift him. Because I won't be able to.
That'd be pretty incredible.
But I mean, that's definitely going. That's definitely going to happen.
I would spend
Right.
the money for that because it would be extremely helpful for things like that. And then if he's living on his own in like a group home or whatever, having something there that can watch him and help him. And
25 years of
Actually, that
AI and
sounds
robotics
like a brilliant
development.
use for it, yeah.
yeah,
I
You
don't see
can't
that
hire
not
people.
existing. Yeah.
right, 100%. So, and it will, and this is a technology that will replace the service industry. I mean, it already is.
Yeah. Actually, service dogs too. Like, right. In a way, it's kind of interesting. Even if the robot itself is not autonomous, it would help Sam be autonomous.
Oh,
So
sure.
Sure. So you have to think of autonomy in a different light. It's not the robot itself, but
I mean,
it could enable autonomy in humans that wasn't possible before.
Can we just think a little?
So that's pretty cool.
Because I love thinking a little sci-fi. Why can't a robot run by some complex AI not exist right now? I don't see why it can't.
It could.
The technology,
It's not commercially viable, I think.
No, but it is. The technology exists.
This is just not viable.
I mean, we've had what's it face? Robotic vacuum cleaners that can map rooms probably for the last 10 years. So we need room mapping. We need motion capturing. I mean, we have all of that stuff.
Well,
a lot of that tech adds
think
up
about why
price.
but why was that technology invented? It wasn't so you'd have an autonomous vacuum robot, and so they can map at your house and see what we had in there. And then
who gives a shit about the need?
But you got to look up at what's going to drive the market.
Vacuum is my fucking house, Doug.
I know, but right.
I tell Jamie this all the time because she gets nervous
and
about.
now you
like,
get targeted furniture ads that conveniently perfectly fit your house.
12-year-old girl things, but I mean, like, I'm a boring person. I don't do anything that isn't normal. If somebody wants to tell me, if Google wants to read my email and tell me when to leave for the airport, I like that. Thank you, Google. Thank you, overlords.
What's going to drive it is how can they make money outside of just selling you the robot? And they trust me, they know.
Well,
they're just trying to figure out how to do it at scale.
Right. Data is a legit.
These fucking things.
Oh, of course, yeah. They're spying
steal
every
everything.
day. Yeah. Of course.
Right.
They can probably do it the same way they're doing it on the TVs right now. With
we on purpose carry tracking devices in our pockets. Every single human in the whole entire world on purpose.
Willingly carry them. And I get
we buy them.
My apps don't load fast enough.
Do we remember the iRobot movie with Will Smith?
I love that.
I never saw that whole movie.
Guess what year that took place?
2025.
2035. So iRobot will be a thing in 10 years. Fully
100%.
autonomous robots in 10 years.
Less than that.
It doesn't seem that outrageous now. Although
it's not that outrageous.
If you put like ChatGPT into a robot that was like faster, stronger, and more deadly than any human being could be, that'd be fucking scary now. The way it can
let's be honest.
Large language models are.
We can make an educated assumption that when OpenAI fired Sam Altman because of some sort of thing, that he discovered the singularity. That's what happened. That's what happened.
When Skynet went online, they tried to pull the plug.
Did they rehire him?
They discovered the singularity.
Yes.
More would be going on right now.
His cult members decided, so the employees of OpenAI said, we are not going forward without Sam. And they hired him back. Because he discovered the singularity. It happened.
Well, wasn't it also he wanted to go commercial and they wanted to be nonprofit and they realized they couldn't build their AI unless they made profit?
I think that happened, but I don't know the time.
So they
And then
rehired
he had more than enough money.
Yeah.
Microsoft has opened the checkbook to them. They get whatever they want.
Oh, I know, but they still
It's still a
it's
company
still more money
status.
than they can give. It's like they spend like 5 point something $billion just to make
Well,
2
it's
billion.
okay. I read this today.
Right,
We
okay.
talked about DeepSeek last week.
We did. I was just
Oh, yeah.
DeepSeek erased $1 trillion of American stocks in a week. So
Yeah. Stocks that I just bought a share of right before that
Snap.
appeared.
$1 trillion.
Go figure.
That's gonna be a game changer, I think.
And now we're
All right. We'd like to thank our this week's fake sponsor, Vivid Vault Secure Storage. Keep your data safe and sound with Vivid Vault Secure Storage. Wow, this is a very apropos sponsor. Trust your files with Vivid Vault, the vault for your digital world. Talking about robots and AI.
Yes.
All right, I think I got one.
Go for it.
Oh, what a night! The next topic in night. Wait, I messed that up.
Oh, no.
63.
1963.
The next topic. Late in March in year 25. I actually meant to use that earlier in the year.
Oh, well, it's still 2025.
That was really
No, I
good,
meant it to use it last year.
I see.
And I didn't use it until anyway.
This is late in the year.
So during the holidays, I had been rewatching a lot of shows from my youth. Now, this recently included Boy Meets World that followed Corey Matthews and his family from Philadelphia. Once I had finished, I decided to watch the reboot version called Girl Meets
Topanga,
World.
bitch.
That followed Corey's new family in New York and mainly concentrated on the life of his daughter, Riley. Sabrina Carpenter. Now, while this show had a pretty good following, it ultimately was canceled after 3 seasons. While researching the reason for this, I came upon a video of Ryder Strong, also known as Sean Hunter from the show, explaining the situation at a Comic-Con. He went on to explain the 65 and over rule that Disney uses on its shows, where it will most likely squash a show after 3 seasons, regardless of its popularity. So, everyone, what are our thoughts on Disney's 65 and over rule?
What is the 65?
Number of 60 episodes.
Right. You hit 65 episodes,
So-
you're done.
I wish we would
Dumb.
do that more in America.
You want them more. Okay.
Really?
Yes, too many shows go way too long.
Not anymore.
Interesting.
No.
You know,
Well,
like, I feel like
Here's
they have
something
been getting
I've been
shorter,
watching
though.
a lot of network television recently. The thing that I have noticed between network and streaming and between shows even 10 years ago and now is we have gone from 22 episode seasons to 10 episode seasons.
Yeah.
Everything has
yeah.
shrunk.
Sometimes
gone
even-
Streaming does that.
Even
But
Pen
there's
Ultimates at 9.
really good episodes, John. When you had a 22 episode season, there was episodes that were just
No, I
yeah.
understand.
Hold on,
show that's-
hold on.
I
The Office
agree.
had some 27 episode seasons, and every single one of them was a banger.
I
up
mean,
to like season.
that's not
4
really
or
true.
5.
Here's,
Oh, come
that's
on.
not
The
really
whole time
true, though,
Steve
Pete.
Carell
And here's
was in
another.
there. It was
Listen,
great.
here's another thing about shows. I don't think a show that is about nothing, an Office, a Parks and Rec, a Seinfeld. I'm not sure if a show like that can exist now. A show that doesn't actually accomplish anything week to week.
Right,
It
that's
could be
great.
true, right? Expectations
Even
have
the
changed.
Office had a clip show in like season 5, and it was like, what are we doing?
I don't
They had a
remember
web
that happening
series.
that early.
Yeah, they had a web series.
Now,
Like an actual
Oh.
episode, it was a clip show.
like what Friends used to do all the
Oh.
time, where they
Now,
just
I'm gonna-
montage a bunch of old episodes.
Well, they do. Yeah,
Yeah.
they do that because they don't want to write another episode.
I'm gonna pull the
Okay,
brakes
so,
on
yeah,
Ryder
so
Strong
those
for
are
a second.
those are definitely throwaways for sure.
Let's pull the brakes
Sometimes
on
they have
Ryder
one.
Strong. Girl Meets World was not a game-changing show. It was
No.
it was a reboot on a sitcom model that wasn't funny. And it was the same show they put out in the 90s.
It was still pretty popular. It was still pretty popular, especially amongst the like teenage girls.
Okay, but what do you say? Can we at least say though that there could be some exceptions to this rule?
There
though?
have been some exceptions.
Like-
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay, yeah.
That's so Raven was the first show to go over in 2004. There have been other shows. I'm sorry, the first live action. The Mickey Mouse Club has been on there. Raven's Home Raven Simone had 2 shows that went over that. Hannah Montana is on there. The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Kim Possible, but there have been other shows like Lizzie McGuire. That was a pretty popular show back in the day. Even Stevens and the famous Jet Jackson. Those were pretty popular.
These are all shows
that were given the axe.
So
Yeah.
Doug and I are, as the experts on the show on shows for 12-year-old girls. I just want to say that there were a lot of gross shows that came out in the aughts and tens on the Disney Channel that had a lot of very famous teenage people and a lot of people trying to take advantage of them running the shows. There was a whole drama in Disney, and all those shows went very long. So I mean, I don't necessarily know that we can trust the Disney Channel with the health of our youth actors and actresses.
Well, that's not why they're doing it. They're doing it literally because they think a show gets too expensive after the 3rd season, and so they just cut it loose.
I mean,
now,
there's some
interesting
merit to
enough.
that.
Yeah, interesting enough, on Girl Meets World, they had, like, right before, towards the end of the season, they had a whole, like, fan appreciation episode where they invited a bunch of their fans to watch to the show. They let them, like,
he left.
They talked. Yeah, I know. they talked to them. It was actually it was a really sweet episode. They let there was this window that the 2 girls would sit at, and that would that's when they would unleash their feelings to each other, and they let, like, other best friends, like real life best friends, do that as well. It was a very sweet moment. Now, if that show kept going on, would we have the Sabrina Carpenter that we have today? Maybe
Yes.
not.
Yes, we would. Once she decided to write an album about sex, she got really famous.
It's funny how that happens, huh?
Oh, I mean,
she was in 2 Netflix movies that I really like, Tall Girl and Tall Girl 2. I also watched that with my 12-year-old.
Was she the tall girl? Because she's not a very tall girl.
She was not the tall girl.
she's not
She was
tall.
the tall girl's very short sister because she's like 4'11".
She looks tall
She's
next
pretty
to Martin Short.
well, yeah, that's true. Dude,
And
that is
she
a
stood next
missed.
to Paul Simon on SNL 50.
That's a missed opportunity. Instead of calling it like Tall Girl 2, just call it Taller.
Taller girl.
Yeah.
No, it was the same. It was the same tall girl. It was a continuation.
Maybe she grew between the
Actually-
the first movie and the sequel.
Doug, I don't know if Nora likes movies like that, but Jamie loves them. That movie is very good. Talk about Netflix.
She's
Totally appropriate.
Shit right
little
now.
little teen drama, teen like.
I'm picking
love
up what
drama
you're putting
stuff.
down there, Pete, though.
Thanks, Mark.
Nice little play on words.
Yeah. I mean,
Even
aliens.
taller girl.
Come on.
Mhm. Aliener. Should have been Alien 3.
Alien-y.
And then Alienist.
Well, you already knew right away.
Have you
it
guys
wasn't-
seen the new
wasn't gonna be
ones?
good enough.
Being that you used to be sci-fi fans, but you don't watch movies. Well, Doug watches movies. Pete doesn't watch movies anymore. Did you see
need to watch
Aliens?
more movies.
Alien Romulus?
Oh, it was phenomenal.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I need to just go. Like, can you guys give me a guide of which Alien
Pete.
like IP movies are worth watching after Alien Resurrection?
so
'Cause
many
that
of them
one
now.
soured me
Not-
in the whole
not
freaking
four.
thing.
There's so many of them now.
That was
Not
the worst.
4.
It was terrible.
Don't watch
Watch-
the AVPs.
Okay.
Watch the
I think I
prequels.
accidentally
Watch
saw one of them.
Prometheus. Prometheus, if you just pretend it's
Fucking
not an
watch-
alien movie and
Fucking
it's just
watch
like a
Prometheus,
sci-fi
bro.
movie, is amazing.
I've heard that's a really good movie. Just
And
straight
then
like, IP
Covenant.
aside.
Covenant's pretty good. 'cause it
Romulus is
continues that
fucking great.
storyline.
Romulus is
Romulus-
scary as shit, though.
Okay.
It's pretty scary.
The ending is fucking crazy.
Okay. All right. So I gotta plan a time to sit and watch those because I do love the
Yeah.
Alien franchise and I would love to
Just don't watch
to
4.
catch up on some. of it.
Ooh.
Too late.
Ooh.
Saw it in the theater. It was
Oh,
a massive
this still has-
disappointment.
I'll tell you what, this still has some nostalgia.
It's bad, Doug.
Okay.
Bad
It
movie.
is. I'm not saying it's good.
Sigourney Weaver being like
It's a bad movie.
super salty and just pissed at the world and everything, and you could kind of see that as a reflection of
Because
why
she
the
was-
fuck am I
she
doing
was
this
a
movie? Was
Human alien hybrid.
right. But like you could see a parallel of also like how the hell did they rake me into doing this movie, and like you could feel that sarcasm and saltiness dripping from her character, which that part of it was satisfying. But everything
Guys,
else,
we're out of time.
One more thing about aliens. How excited are you for Alien Earth?
Yes.
Wait,
I cannot wait.
Jesus Christ, Doug, I love when you come on. Somebody give me an alien.
That comes out this summer, right?
It's on Hulu. It's a TV show, and it's June or July.
Side note: How excited were you? I was very excited back in the '90s when Danny Glover is roaming around a spaceship. A, you realize it's a Terminator spaceship, and B, you see an alien skull, and you're just like, "What the fuck is that?"
Hey, do you remember? We watched that together.
Yep.
Me, you, and Tim.
Yep.
And we just lost our shit.
Yeah, your dad was so excited, and like our parents talked, and I think your dad like engineered it. Like he orchestrated it, and he's like, they're gonna watch Alien one night and a sleepover, and the next night Aliens, and it was fucking
we watched
amazing.
Alien and Aliens at your house.
Okay.
Your mom rented those. I remember that.
Danny Glover,
yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was like with
this is Terminator.
Because like your dad had the comic
2.
book.
Predator.
Yeah.
Predator
This
2.
is Predator 2.
Yeah.
Predator 2. Danny Glover's just a cop in LA, right? He just trips into it.
No,
amazing.
We
one of the best movies, the whole thing.
Yeah,
we watched
the Alien skull
movies.
ship,
We were like
that.
so into that,
Yep.
and then we watched Predator 2, and when that skull was in
that was so cool.
the trophy room, we were just like,
whoa, yeah, that because there's no other.
It blew our mind.
They didn't do that shit before.
There's no other inkling that these universes were connected, and then just that little thing
there
was
were
like
graphic novels for like adults that did merge those two worlds, but we didn't know.
But we didn't know that as kids.
We were teenagers, preteens.
We had your dad had the original Alien like comic book version. It was really good. I remember that was extremely well done.
Yeah, he had the hardcover.
Yeah.
Alan Dean Foster wrote it. That was really good.
When you're the perfect killer, you have to engineer the perfect prey.
Yep.
Fuck yeah.
All right. This is a deeper cut.
Yeah, we got to move on.
Yep.
We got to move on.
We're on an express elevator to the next topic. Going down.
Nice. Going down.
All right. Well, I know my next two topics. I don't know what direction we're going to do them in, but it's okay. Let's do this one first. It's less exciting. So, James Gunn's reboot of the DCU is off to kind of a rough start, as Superman has been hit with a lawsuit from the estate of Joseph Schuster. That's the co-creator of Superman. Mm-hmm. This injunction wouldn't block the release of the film as it's well past shoots and into marketing, but it would block the release in the UK, Ireland, Australia, and Canada. Boiled down, this lawsuit is specifically challenging Warner Brothers' distribution rights for Superman in those countries. So looking into this, what I found out is 12 years ago, Man of Steel had a similar legal battle with, again, the Schuster estate, and they almost actually retained their rights to Superman. So this seems to me like posturing and a continuation of a long-fought IP battle. But how do we feel about intellectual property rights for creators versus giant conglomerates, especially with the idea that Warner Brothers has clearly owned the rights to the DCU and Superman for many, many years?
I mean why? No, you go ahead, Doug. You go.
Well, I was going to say, if someone does own the rights, they deserve to get paid. But if they don't own the rights and they're just suing to sue because at one point they were part of the IP, then that's just dumb. It's just causing delays, and it's just a money grab. But
do we know if Joel Schuster gave up all his rights back in the day to Warner Brothers?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering when I saw this. I didn't have a chance to look that up. I was surprised he still had anything at all, because I haven't heard his name since a couple brief mentions of, hey, he's one of the co-creators
he gets a
of
credit.
Superman.
Yeah. He gets a credit by credit.
Mm-hmm. I always remember here in the beginning of the first Richard Donner Superman, there was a little thing in the beginning before the TV expanded into the titles, and they gave a little shout out to Schuster and who was the other guy? Who was the creator?
Mm-hmm.
Were they both Schusters? Were they brothers? I feel like that was a thing.
No.
Okay.
So according to this random law website, it says Schuster's estate is not contesting U.S. copyrights because that matter was settled in 1992 after his death. The estate of Superman creator Joe Shuster filed to terminate the 1938 copyright, but a U.S. judge ruled the assignment was superseded by an agreement for DC Comics to pay lifetime pensions to Shuster's siblings. So he sold his rights way back in the day.
Yeah, and he's getting his money.
He's not
Got
even alive
paid.
anymore.
And
So it's
they
just
are
the
literally just
fucking
like, well,
grandkids.
But they're
Okay,
condemning
this is-
that was just the U.S., huh?
yes.
So this is
That
just a
is
ploy
weird.
until, how much money is it going to take before they suddenly change their minds on their moral
And so the lawsuit
argument
filed in
against
federal
this?
court in New York claims the above agreement did not apply to foreign jurisdictions. And so it's a money grab.
It's
That's what it
100%
sounds
American.
like.
And as long as we can watch it here, I don't really give a shit.
I forgot that the Superman is really that old. 1938. Wow.
Yeah, Action Comics, yo.
Wow.
Yep.
Before he
So,
had his own
Long time ago.
own story,
That's been a minute.
Let's
Yeah.
pivot a little.
As the kids would
since
say.
We've sort of already put that
Almost
to bed, and I
100
thought
years.
we might.
Mhm.
What do we think about the pivot away from Cavill and to a guy who looks an awful lot like Cavill in the suit?
I mean, we all loved Cavill as Superman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder-
The fact that he got paired with Ben Affleck is just kind of
I know.
shot
Like
down.
what was the I wonder if there was something personal or something. But you would think I feel like James Gunn and Cavill would have got along great.
Well, I think he's just moving on.
You think so?
Yeah.
You only
Was it
do those
Cavill's
movies
decision
for
or
a
because
while.
I thought he was
No,
fired?
James
No.
James Gunn is the boss, and he wants to put his stink on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, guys,
Because Cavill
Superman
wasn't
did-
James Gunn's guy.
And you want to know
He
why?
does.
You want to know who Crypto is. The dog that's in the trailer.
Yeah,
That's James Gunn's actual dog.
Wow, he's got a CGI dog.
Well,
yes.
Superman has had a dog for a while, but yes, the dog.
It's
portions
modeled
of the
after
movie.
James Gunn's dog.
That's awesome.
That
Yeah,
was
it's
kinda
actual
cool.
dog. So Crypto is typically like a shepherd or a lab. It's like a big dog, right?
Mhm.
But this Crypto is like a little fucking box terrier. He's a tiny little shit like yappy dog.
So are you telling me
Nothing
that they
against
had
yappy dogs.
is this dog actually from Planet Krypton? Like what's the origin
Yeah.
of Crypto? Like I always thought that was a weird tie-in.
Yes.
It felt very Disney-ish to be like, and there's a super dog and a super kid and a super girl and guess what? And they're,
Yes, the dog is from Krypton. I don't know how the dog got here, but the whole Yellow Sun thing.
So is it weird that they not only have one evolved evolved animal that turned into exactly very similar to Homo sapiens, but they also had dogs there in a planet and God knows how many galaxies away.
Listen, man.
Peter, I think you're thinking
universe
way
is
too much
big.
about
Okay,
this.
fine.
Can we talk about Nathan Fillion being the jerk
Can't
Green Lantern, Guy Gardner? Can we talk about Millie Alcock from from House of the Dragon being Supergirl, Kal-El Zor? I mean, a lot of really cool things happening in this movie.
I'm excited
She's
for
a
it
great
'cause
actor.
It's definitely a different direction than they've had, in the Superman.
They're doing a
movies.
little bit of a
That's
DC, conglomeration cast. They're going to do Hawk Girls in it.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell
Nicholas
that
Holt
big-
is Lex Luthor. I think it's
what's
going to
the
be
big
really
dragon
good.
thing that he was.
Yeah,
filming?
I don't know how I feel about Nicholas Holt being Lex Luthor. I mean, I like Nicholas Holt as an
That's
actor.
better than Jesse Eisenberg.
You know what? The element of just the fact that I think Jesse Eisenberg is a fucking douchebag, I think made him the perfect Lex Luthor. Because you're supposed to hate Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
I guess,
And
but my Lex Luthor is Gene Hackman.
Yes.
Well,
Absolutely.
unfortunately. Oh, also, hey,
Kevin Spacey,
Shout-
although he's a terrible human
toast
being,
to
was a
the
pretty good Lex
late
Luthor
great
too.
Gene Hackman.
And talking about the late great Gene Hackman, they did cast Miss Tessmacher in this movie.
Oh,
Miss
nice.
Tessmacher.
It's Tessmacher!
So that's awesome.
Um,
Obviously, not the same one, but
When does that movie come out?
this summer.
July, I think July something.
Oh, it's gonna be a big summer.
Yeah, it's gonna be
July 11th.
There you go.
This
Damn.
is 2 weeks before Fantastic
That's almost
Four,
my birthday.
and 2 weeks after the Scarlett Johansson Jurassic World.
That's gonna be an absolute garbage.
I'm fucking so psyched for movies this summer. We got Thunderbolts. We got two Marvel
Thunderbolts.
movies.
I'm looking forward to Thunderbolts.
That would be fun. I think I warmed up to it. Like I don't know, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been kind of just not interesting to me the last
agree.
couple movies, but
Where
that
are
one
they
I
at?
might go see. I might go see if Tim wants to go see it.
I don't know. I love Florence Pugh. John, you
She's
know what
awesome,
remember the movie Fighting for Our Family?
Yep.
Florence Pugh was the actress in that movie.
I know.
I didn't realize that
She
until
was
like
so
last
good.
week.
She was so good.
Everything Florence Pugh does, I love. All right, we're moving on.
Yep. We're out of time.
All right. And I ran so far away. To next topic, we couldn't get away. Couldn't get away. So last weekend was the most anticipated night in Hollywood with the Academy Awards. Often looked at as the utmost award for anyone in the entertainment field and one of the highest rated shows on TV. In fact, almost 19.7 million viewers watched the former late night host Conan O'Brien entertain Hollywood's elite, minus Pete. Also, there was more than 104 million social interactions online, which surpasses any other TV program, presumably more than the Super Bowl, according to ABC 7 Los Angeles. However, aside from Wicked, most Americans failed to watch the Best Picture nominees in theaters. In fact, last year we saw about a 7% decline in tickets sold and the worst overall gross sales figure since 2001, when the average movie ticket cost less than $6.
Bum, bum, bum.
So, everyone, did we watch the Oscars? What Best Picture nominees have we seen or are we planning to see? And does Hollywood need to learn to market the award-winning movies better?
I watched the Oscars until they got boring. They always get boring. Especially when they try to get you in the beginning with a couple that you care about, and then they do
a lot of technical ones.
A lot of the really boring ones until 11 p.m. So I always give up. I gave up. I think the problem with the movies this year, especially the winning movies, besides what is it? The Big Pain, the one that Kieran Culkin was in. A lot of
Substance, Sonora.
A lot of them were very serious. A lot of them were very depressing, and they're always that. And so, like, Anora's not a very watchable movie, right? It's about the sex trade and the Middle East, and it's a lot, right? So unfortunately, the people who like those are the movies where the best acting happens, but not a lot of people like those movies, and that's why they don't get watched.
Yeah, I never even heard of that movie until it won the Oscar, honestly.
It's very expensive to make even a cheap movie. I'm sure Anora was in the $40 or $50 million range, right?
It's hard to make a movie these days for less.
Well, with your salary. So I told Bridget, I'm like, hey, let's watch the Oscars this year because we love Conan. I listen to his podcast. Second podcast I listened to after this one.
He was very funny, actually. The production of the show, I think, was actually very good. Sure. I think that it was probably one of the more watchable ones.
I told her I want to watch it, but then we went to bed.
Oh,
it is on pretty late.
Womp womp.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I watched the highlights on TikTok the next morning. But I think the last. I think the last Oscar-nominated movie that I purposely watched was Black Swan.
Wow,
that's going back.
That was a little while ago,
like over a decade ago.
Steph and I got to see
You never saw Oppenheimer?
Of that.
No, I still have not watched Oppenheimer.
I did enjoy Oppenheimer.
Yeah, it's hard to find 4 hours to watch a movie.
Yeah, it is a long movie. I ended up seeing it with.
Hold on.
Oh, I want to say it was like
2011,
8, 10.
2010. Yeah, we saw it was either the Spectrum 7 or 8 whenever they added an A theater, or Madison, the theater in Madison. But they were doing like a screener of it, so before it was actually out in general admission. So we got to see it there. I forget who got us that. Was that Rick maybe? Somebody got us in there, so we got to see that one before. But
right.
Wait, so Doug, does that mean you haven't seen Wicked either?
Oh yeah, we did watch Wicked, but I watched Wicked
Okay.
because I wanted to watch Wicked, not because.
And
it
you have
was
a 12-year-old.
nominated for an Oscar.
Well, yeah.
And I have a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I loved Wicked. Was great.
Yeah, I do want to
enjoyed
watch
it.
that one actually.
I think one of the problems with the movies this year is that, like, The Brutalist is a 1947 period piece. Emilia Perez is about transgendered rights, which is very serious. I mean, Conclave is literally about the Pope.
Right.
I mean,
Some
like,
heavy-hitting
they were up
movies
for
here.
best costumes, and I literally was like, but they're all
It's all the same
Just
costume.
priest
all the
costumes.
same costume.
Yeah.
It's all
and-
priest costumes. I mean, there are a lot of priest costumes. It's all priest costumes, bro.
They're really good priest costumes.
I guess.
I think that one of the most original Best Picture nominees that I wanted to see was The Substance. I think I'll still see that. That looks awesome.
What is that one about?
But it is about a washed-up actor in like actress in the 90s who takes a drug to clone herself, and she's Demi Moore, and then she comes out.
And that was a very 90s topic, right?
She
Remember
literally,
cloning
like,
Dolly the sheep.
she
that
literally,
was
like,
90s.
Births a version of herself that's super hot and sexy and young, but it like comes out of her body all fucked up.
That's all. It's a real fucked up scene.
Interesting.
It's a real fucked up scene that Conan made fun of.
Of course.
Yes.
So, I mean, I think that probably the most watchable movie was the one about Bob Dylan with what's his face with.
But he sang too
Oh
good.
yeah. Oh,
He doesn't sing
he
like
purposely
Bob Dylan.
tried to sing badly. He went on SNL and sang like Bob Dylan.
Oh, that was a great that episode on SNL.
It's a good
was
episode.
Amazing. I love
Timothy Chalamet. You're talking about
Chalamet.
Chalamet. That's a good one.
So, I don't know. I think that the movie industry is the biggest studio in 2024 was Netflix. They made the most money. They put out the most movies.
It was bound to happen at some point.
It's not an accident.
Oh no, I mean we know we've been following this, except for Mark until recently. You know, they've been building towards this since Orange is the New Black, right? And they were probably planning it even years before that came out, obviously.
Sure, that was the first big original show, but
was this the master plan? Do you think to become a major
their decision
movie
to
studio?
become a major movie studio?
Well, stepping stones, right?
Yeah, that has been developed for a long time, I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that was always the plan, but it became very obvious to be the plan once it started working.
So yeah, it seemed to evolve very well into that plan. That's for sure.
They put out good movies.
They do. They make good
really
movies.
We
I
just watched
love their Die Hard airport Christmas movie with Taron Egerton. That movie's awesome.
I have yet to watch that. Is that good?
It's fun. It's fun. It's as fun as Die Hard, honestly.
Moral of this
Venom
topic
is on. John, Venom is on. Venom: The Last Dance is on Netflix.
We don't talk about the Sony Marvel movies, Doug.
Come on, it's Venom though.
Kraven the Hunter, Madam Web. No, thank you.
I'd be interested to watch Kraven.
Morpheus.
I'm interested in watching Craven. I think.
Morpheus.
I'm not going to pay for it, but if I'm,
I guess if you're
paying for the streaming.
Hey, Mark. Before they stop talking about the Sony MCU, do you know what time it is?
It's the final topic.
So Doug's here. So we do actually have to talk about the MCU. So closing out its third week, Captain America: Brave New World has already outperformed the Marvels with a much smaller budget and purposefully less risky things like Ant-Man, Quantumania, Thor: Love and Thunder, and Eternals. So as of March 4th, the film has reached $341.9 million worldwide, surpassing its prequel, The Incredible Hulk, at $264.7 million, though that was like 100 years ago.
They're calling that the prequel?
I mean, they're not calling it a
There's a
prequel.
Hulk in it.
It's a functional prequel.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, actually. If anybody
because they had the same Betty Ross?
The same Betty Ross, essentially the same Thunderbolt Ross, essentially discussions about his transition and him being kind of a corrupt general.
I digress.
Anyway, and it's on track to pass, apparently, and I was surprised by this, Captain America: The First Avenger, which is only $370.5 million, even though that was still like 100 years ago. So with all this, the film has received generally poor reviews, holding at 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, despite a fan score of 79%, and me generally enjoying it. So with failure after failure, do we think there is a resolution, besides Deadpool, to the current state of the MCU?
Fantastic Four this summer.
Mm.
And then
and Thunderbolt.
Why is
X-Men's
Fantastic Four going to be better?
Because it's different. It's going to be a different storyline, and it's on a different Earth.
Honestly, this is my thoughts about the Fantastic Four, and I'm very excited for the Foxverse and the cool characters like the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the things that they need to do to really like birth the universe better. Because I am a functional fanboy. Now, here's a problem. It's another fucking universe jump. They're in a weird 1920s universe.
40s.
Shut up. They're doing Galactus out the gate with the Fantastic Four. They're doing fucking Galactus, which is insane, by the way, because they did Galactus in the Super Silver Surfer movie, and it was bullshit.
They didn't do it well, though.
I mean,
it was a hurricane in space.
So it didn't even look like Galactus?
No, this fucking one's gonna have a face like Galactus
like
from the cartoons.
Okay.
And he's gonna change shape like he does in the comics, or size like the way he does in the comics.
Yeah. So now the other concerns that I have about the Fantastic Four as a movie is like fully CG characters they just never play great, right? You have the Thing who has to be fully CG. And he's just like,
does he though?
But Tony Stark as Iron Man was fully CG, and it looked like fucking Tony Stark was real.
Yeah, but he's not an 8-foot tall rock man.
Well, true, but that But look at the Hulk. I mean, the Hulk is fully CG, and I think they've done a good job with them. Mark Ruffalo.
See, they got Mark.
The real Mark Ruffalo?
Or Mark, I didn't mean to ruin it for you.
Spoiler.
I mean, I really liked when they bought Fox, the teases of all the things that they were doing in the MCU. They sold the tower to some random company, and they were going to do this on the streets thing, which they still might do. And like Johnny Storm and Peter Parker were going to be friends. Like they talked about that shit. That would have been a really great way to introduce the Fantastic Four. So now we have a whole multiple universes, time travel, different versions of every fucking body, which is the thing that I called that I think is really hurting the MCU a lot.
Well, this is why they have to reboot. Yeah. Isn't this why they have to reboot the comics every like 10 or so odd years? Because they just get too carried away with multiple universes and time jumps and bullshit.
Just bullshit. Storytelling holes. So they don't have there's no downfalls. There's no limits to the MCU right now because they can literally take anything back. They have enough storytelling holes. They have time travel, perfect shapeshifters.
I feel like that
they have different universes. They can do whatever they want, which is bullshit.
I feel like that's one of those Deus Ex Machina things that you can do once as a plot device. And after that, it's used.
But to constantly
after that,
do
it ruins the whole thing. Right. They did it already in the Infinity War and Endgame, right? That was the big loophole. Like, we can go back in time and undo it. But that took 10 years of buildup to get to that thing, like.
And they did a pretty good job of building each arc, and then putting them together. It's almost like they had a plan,
right?
For that, but it doesn't seem like there's a plan for this version.
No,
I mean,
that is the big issue that there seems to be zero plan.
There is, and I'm saying that hopefully a plan. The Young Avengers are all mostly in place now.
That's
mostly, true. And Yelena. Black Widow is their boss, so they're mostly in place. I think that on top of that, they did do the work for the Thunderbolts, so the Thunderbolts might just be the answer.
I don't know though.
I am looking forward to Thunderbolts.
It
looks pretty good.
How do you take that and market it to someone that knows far less about the comics and all these characters and be like, and not have them come away thinking, dude, we already had the big conclusion with the A team. Why are you trying to market me?
It's not a B team movie. It's a bad guy. It's a bad guy team.
Okay. I mean,
is super popular. I mean, bad guys are
I guess
popular
so.
right now, right?
I mean, DC's been hit or miss with their version of that.
I mean, it worked in the DC universe. I mean, those
but
are
it
fun
didn't-
movies.
I think
Well,
of all
yeah.
the movies
Yeah,
in
one of
Phase
the
4 and
ones did
Phase
work
5,
really
I
well,
think
that's true.
Black Widow is one of the best ones. 2 of the characters from Black Widow, David Harbour, super funny.
Well,
Yelena Belova,
they have good
super
actors
funny.
for sure.
I think that some parts of the things they're using, like they're using everybody. So like U.S. Agent, while U.S. Agent of Winter Soldier and what's his face was fine. I think that Bucky's back, and Bucky has still been very interesting. Bucky has a very interesting part in Brave New World, so I think that has some like universe connective tissue. So they make, these are the same guys, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Big universes are hard. You have to expand.
Yeah.
You have to get bigger.
well, to
And
keep
so-
it
never
going
gonna
for
get-
so long, it's
You're never gonna redo the perfection of
No.
No,
you're never going to get it on your left.
And you,
Right,
and you,
of course not.
shouldn't try to copy it either, because then it just feels
You're
not authentic.
never ever
Yeah.
going to get an on your left moment in cinema ever again.
right.
No.
So
Because that is a movie, okay? That is a line callback from a movie. 5 years later, the difference between Winter Soldier and Endgame, 7 years. One throwaway line that I heard Anthony Mackie, he ad-libbed that line when he was filming the scenes for Endgame.
Well,
he was like Sam, or Steve's on your left. I mean, like amazing, right?
Well,
amazing. What an amazing callback.
that also prompted them to do an entire reshoot to make that portal thing happen in the 11th hour.
Yep.
That wasn't even supposed to be in the movie.
Wasn't even supposed to be in the movie.
Oh, really?
The most iconic thing in the whole movie was not originally.
Anthony Mackie had a good idea, and they're like,
Yeah.
the
What are they gonna
Russos were
do?
like, that's
I don't
fucking
know.
it. We're
but
doing that.
It wasn't going to be that. Maybe it was still kind of a similar idea, but just it wasn't going to be that massive,
I see.
high budget, epic
I'm
thing.
glad they did it because it was just. I mean, I still watch that
was
scene
so cool.
and just get goosebumps.
Yeah. Dude, there's memes made about that. Like they just put like, whatever subject the meme
Football
is.
ones.
Yeah, football players' faces on top of like the Avengers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So
I don't know.
I think that the X-Men are going to be a big swing, and they're ready for it. If you guys haven't watched Brave New World yet, Adamantium is canon.
Okay.
So they're
they've
prepping.
talked
They're
about
prepping.
planting little seeds here or there. Okay.
I'm just
They
wondering
are.
if they're going to do the mutants in that Earth, or they're going to, because I mean they already introduced mutants at the end.
They teased it. Yeah, they
at the
teased
end
it
of
out
Marvels.
after Marvels.
Spoilers.
Okay.
So that is the Foxverse. We know that because what's his face? About Fraser's in it.
Kelsey
right?
Grammer.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kelsey Grammer as the Beast,
So,
which he looked terrible, by the way.
he did.
Well, I mean, he was old in the.
Well,
the
wasn't he
X2.
CGI? Wasn't he
the
primarily CGI though? Yeah.
Yes, the CGI Beast looked absolutely horrible. The one that he is Beast in the X3 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
He looked way better, and that was like in the mid
Speak of
2000s.
that movie.
That's because that was just Kelsey Grammer with a bunch of makeup on.
X-Men, the Electric Boogaloo.
that movie.
Well, okay,
The
X2 was
Dark
great.
Phoenix, the second Dark Phoenix.
Oh my god, that was so long ago. Those movies.
Oh,
we don't
man.
talk about any of
No,
those movies.
no.
Those movies did
Hey,
not
X2
happen.
was good, and I liked
X2
First
was
Class and I
great.
liked Days of
I
Future
liked
Past. Those were good ones.
Hey, Days of Future Past is probably one of my favorite.
Really?
Prequel X-Men movies. It's fantastic because it kind
Now,
of
I liked it, but it's not one of my favorites.
I liked First Class a
No,
lot though because I thought it was just
did
Did it
more
hurt your head? Did it hurt your head where Alex Summers was alive in the 60s and Scott Summers was alive in the 90s?
Yeah, that was a
That
little
hurt my head.
weird.
That
But
math makes no sense.
no sense at all.
That hurt my head. I was like, that's Havoc, but also, what?
No,
I'm
I
confused.
Yeah,
I
that
do
got a
that
little
math in my
weird.
head every time. I'm like, okay, that doesn't.
Well,
make sense.
when did they had him alive in one of the Wolverine movies too? Scott Summers. I mean, when did that take place? Didn't that also?
Well, one of the
Okay,
the
so-
Logan one was way in the future.
Okay, so
No, I'm not talking about
Scott
Logan.
Summers has
Talking about Wolverine Origins,
Scott
Oh,
Summers
yeah,
has
yeah,
two brothers.
the
right?
original Wade Wilson.
Gotcha.
And what happens is Scott Summers' dad is a space pirate. Okay, bear with me.
Well, not originally,
Yep.
right? Didn't he like get
No.
picked up by them or something? Or was he always a space pirate?
Right. So he wasn't always a space pirate. He was a pilot, and the Summers family is up in an airplane, and the Shi'ar come. The Shi'ar are aliens.
They're like alien people, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they bombard them with cosmic radiation. They take Dad. Dad becomes a space pirate.
Mm-hmm.
Alex and Scott go back to Earth, and they get powers. And his other brother goes to space and becomes a bad guy. And they all have energy powers, but they're all the same age.
Isn't the whole point about being a mutant power that you have it from birth? It's literally a genetic mutation.
That was the movie. The movies were based on
that was the
genetic mutation.
I mean, he got mutated just from space.
Comics
radiation.
was kind of just like, oh, you want a mutant power? You got a mutant power? You got a mutant power?
I guess so. Also, I was thinking the cartoon too, right? That was the whole shtick with the cartoon.
A lot of my knowledge on X-Men is from the cartoon.
I mean, they did the Shi'ar.
Well, and the cartoon pulled from a lot of really good.
It was really good.
Yeah, like the cartoon did a good job, and the new one especially. But like even the original one did a good job of pulling little bits and pieces from some of the best comic book stories of.
Speaking of the cartoon, has anyone heard anything about a sequel to X-Men 97?
They're doing sequel.
But it's delayed, so it's going to be a while.
No, he already wrote it.
I know.
He wrote it before he even got fired.
I know, but there was a production update saying that, like, yes, it's coming, but it's unfortunately it's going to be a lot longer than people expected.
Didn't someone say it was going to be like X-Men 2000 or something like that?
Huh? They should do that.
Disney's pushing.
No, am I making that up?
TV shows. They're spreading them out.
They made a Spider-Man show.
Called it and delayed it.
That's on right now.
It is on right now, and it's pretty good.
Is it good? I have not watched it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's not X-Men 97, but it's fun and it's different.
Yeah,
I'm partial to the Spider-Man from the 90s.
Oh, I love that.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, exactly. All right.
Are we just gonna have a theme song?
So that's been our topics. We will be back in 2 weeks with our friend Lizzie Mahan. In the meantime, you can catch up on our old episodes. Keep going, John. On our old episodes of our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/@iftheseballspod. And don't forget to subscribe to us by clicking on that little bell. We'd like to thank our guests for joining us this week. Thank you, Doug.
Thank you. Where's my salami?
You can also follow or like us on our socials @IfTheseBallsPod on X, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, and Blue Sky. Our website is www.iftheseballsgoodtalkpod.com. This is Mark Pesci, and for my partner John Campagna, producer Pete Stephan. That's what we feel they would say if these balls could talk.
Spell it. Just can't see it.
There it is.
If these